Hi, welcome to the seventh episode of To the Point, the video journal for Southpoint Access, the local, ultra local news site for South Durham. I'm Wes Platt, editor and publisher, and that is now my full-time job. I have officially left my safe, secure gig as an executive editor for a school transportation magazine. Now I'm doing this. So I've already started reaching out to try to bug businesses here in South Durham to advertise. I hope that if you're watching this, if you're a business, you'll advertise with us. If you're a reader, please subscribe and support the work I do. This is it is not free to do this. I am spending my time and energy, and it is really appreciated. We've got quite a few subscribers already, and I appreciate every one of them. Every little bit counts, and we've got subscribers, we've got people who are donating to the site. It's been very heartening and was one of the things that kind of gave me the confidence to say, I think this could work. I think there's demand for this. I think there's interest in this. And I mean, I work for you. I'm your journalist in South Durham. Um, and one of your neighbors living here in Hope Valley Ridge. So when you subscribe, you're supporting me, you're supporting my family, but you're supporting your community because you're supporting the gathering of information and the distribution of that information. And I love doing it. If I could do it for free, I guarantee you I would. My wife and my kids would not appreciate it. So anyway, thank you for watching and for following along. I'm excited and kind of scared, kind of relieved that this is my focus now. So let's get to it. So if you've been watching the site in the last few days, some of the news, there are townhouses being proposed along Mineral Springs Road. Go Triangle is getting a federal grant for an RTP transit hub. A similar grant is being awarded to downtown Durham, the Holloway Street transit corridor, one of the busiest corridors that the city has. They're getting a grant to do some work there and improve safety, which I think is great. And I think the biggest news over the weekend that broke is that we have a new superintendent coming in for Durham Public Schools. It's Dr. Anthony Lewis. He's the first Black superintendent for Lawrence Public Schools in Kansas. He's actually originally from Alabama, and he kind of looks at Durham, besides being a district that's already doing great things but has potential to do more. It's close to his home and his family. I had the chance today to interview him and spend some time getting some information that you might find useful. Please watch the interview. If you've got any comments, feel free to add them to the video on YouTube. And if you ever have any questions for me, feel free to reach out at southpointaccessnews@gmail.com. And I am also on I'm on Threads. I'm on Twitter. I am floating around on social media. I've got a couple of Facebook pages for me and for Southpoint Access. I'll have links to those in the details of this video. Without any further ado, here's the interview. Thanks for watching. All right, so the first question that I have for you, Dr. Lewis, is what is your background? Where are you coming from? We wrote about this a day or so ago when they made the announcement. I know you were born in Alabama, and your career is kind of taking you to Kansas, but kind of tell us the path you've taken and how you're coming to Durham.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, you're right. Just a country boy from Alabama is what I am. I like to tell people. Born and raised in Talladega, Alabama. Not much there. You know, when people think about Talladega, for the most part, when I say Talladega, they think about Ricky Bobby and Talladega
Right.
Nights. But obviously, the Talladega Super Speedway is there. Talladega College, which is an HBCU, is there, and just some great people there. But there are also the Alabama Institute for Deaf and Blind that has 3 campuses there. And it's a campus for students who are blind, a campus for students who are deaf, and then the Helen Keller campus is for students who are deaf and blind, or at the time when I was growing up, they were calling it students who have multiple handicaps. Now we say exceptionalities, right?
Right.
And so my grandmother was a cafeteria supervisor, or cafeteria manager at the Helen Keller School. I had some other family members, two aunts that worked there, and my mom worked there in the summer as well. And so, growing up in a single parent home, childcare was not always accessible. And a lot of family was at work, so we would have to go to work during the summer with my mom and aunt sometime. And I remember, and this was when I was around 10, and I remember just being in the space and just being fascinated and amazed that yet these students had exceptionalities. I'm talking about deaf and blind, or other exceptionalities, and they were involved in extracurricular activities, i.e., band, track and field, football. And I
Hmm.
was just, my mind as a 10-year-old, my mind was just blown away, at the talent that they had, to the true essence of the word exceptionalities, right? And so I just became intrigued, and obviously wanted to pursue a career in special education, to again highlight the abilities in the word disabilities, highlight the abilities of the students. I've always kind of been a champion, or had a passion for the underdog, so to speak, or
Hmm.
a high level of focus on proving people wrong about what they believe students can and cannot do. And so went to Alabama State University in Montgomery, Alabama, majored in special education. I got a master's in special education. Had a goal of staying in special education, but at the state level. But in order to do that, you had to have the education administration degree or certification. Went to get it for my big state level job, right? You have
Right.
your path set out for you, but and then my school district, Montgomery Public Schools, was doing some screener interviews, and I said, "Look, I need practice, interviewing for my big state level job. So let me go to the screener interviews to get some practice." Needless to say, principal of an elementary school called me and asked would I be interested in an interview for an elementary school position. And after I accepted, she told me that she was looking for someone to replace her because the plan was to move her down to the district office. And what she also shared with me in that conversation is that the school was on the brink of state takeover.
All
I
right.
had been on the state's school improvement list for about 8 years. And again, that passion for proving people wrong about what they believe children can and cannot do. This was a high poverty, at the time, low performing school. And so that myth at that time was poor children can't learn, right? And so over a matter of 3 to 4 years, we were able to turn that school around. And it became number 18 out of 706 schools in the state, became a high performing, high poverty school. Because of the work there, was recruited by the superintendent. Just cold called me one day and said, "Look, I've been reading about your school. Would you be interested in coming to Kansas City?" I said, "No, I'm fine." Didn't know much about Kansas City other than the Royals and the Chiefs, who both were not that good at that time.
Hmm.
And also heard about the so-called fame for great barbecue in Kansas City. That's still debatable, depending.
Well, you're going to be in the middle
Um,
of that debate pretty soon.
Right, exactly, exactly. So I remember doing my research on the District West. Again, I didn't know much about the district. I was reading the stories, and I read the comments, and we're just reading what people would say about the district. And one comment that really stuck out to me, the commenter stated, "I wouldn't send my dog to that school district." And so me looking at the images of students, some of them look just like me, and seeing the images of hardworking teachers and staff, I told my wife, and I want to go be a part of that. And so we moved, my wife, and at the time my 5 kids, we have 6 now, to Kansas City, Missouri, and we're able to be a part of that work again. Wasn't looking for this school district, but this was now a school district that was on the verge of state takeover. So again, I love challenges, I guess you could say.
Hmm.
So moving there, and after my time there, the district, we was a lot of work, I will tell you that. But after 6 years, the district received enough points to be fully accredited, a feat that hadn't happened in close to 3 decades. So
Wow.
really excited about the work we were able to do there. And then my superintendent, supervisor at that time, I was assistant superintendent, said that he believed I was ready for my own district. And I said, "Are you trying to get rid of me here?" And so looked at a school district. I cannot compromise my morals and values, and so I wanted to find a school district that aligned with those, and researched Lawrence Public Schools, and became the first Black superintendent in Lawrence Public Schools in Lawrence, Kansas. And I am just completing my 6th year here in Lawrence. So now I'm really excited about the work in Durham.
So kind of that gets us to the segue of what appealed to you about Durham. I know that a lot of candidates, we had 100 some odd candidates apply. What was it for you that said, yeah, I want to leave Kansas and go to Durham, North Carolina?
Great question. There are different superintendent search firms that will reach out to superintendents to apply for positions. I get those quite often. And I remember getting this one from Durham, and began researching Durham. Again, I'm born and raised in Alabama, and I often tell our district leaders and building leaders that family comes first. And we don't have any family here in the Midwest. I had a brother that recently passed away in January. My mom is in Alabama. My wife's parents are in Montgomery, Alabama. And I know we'll eventually have to get back close to home. And I don't want to move home when I have to. I want to move closer to home when I can still enjoy quality of life with our parents. So when I was looking for a school system to be a part of, as well as a school system that I will have 2 children in of my own, I wanted to find a school system that aligns with my morals and values, and align with the work that I want to be a part of. And so when I would get these school systems that were, in the Southeast and close to home, I would go, for example, to their websites and just type in a word like equity. And on some school systems websites, I wouldn't get any hits, but Durham Public Schools, I got tons of pages, and began to research the work that they were doing about just ensuring that all students have access to and opportunities to high quality, rigorous education, and just continued to research the work. And it's closely aligned to the work we're doing here in Lawrence. Durham is a college town, so some might argue that I'm moving from one basketball city, with the Jayhawks here, to another with the Duke Blue Devils. That wasn't a factor, obviously, but really it's just making sure that I want to be a value add to the work. And I want to believe, when I was researching the system, I wanted to look for a system that I believe I can add value, but also accelerate the success that was already taking place. And obviously, there's no perfect school system. There are going to be challenges. And looking at those challenges and seeing how I could play a major role in addressing those challenges head on to create the premier school district in the country.
I think that's a great ambition.
Yes.
When you were looking at, and reviewing the district and its challenges and its strengths, what do you consider Durham's greatest strength as a school district?
Well, I would say the Durham's greatest strength is staff and students. You have some award-winning teachers there, nationally board certified teachers there, some amazingly talented students there in Durham. Those are the assets, in Durham. The research supports that the number one decisive factor in terms of improving student outcomes is indeed the classroom teacher. Second to the classroom teacher is the building principal. And then third, based on some research from the Wallace Foundation, is the principal supervisors and those that support the principals. And so the more that we invest in the teachers, the more that we invest in the staff that's supporting our teachers, and our leaders, the district and building leaders, the more we invest there, the more we are investing in our students, and success will follow after that. And so that's what I would say is the major assets there is our people.
Now, obviously, you're coming in after 5 to 6 months of some serious challenges and public relations issues. Do you think we're getting past that and you're kind of coming in and helping to pick up the pieces there a bit, what do you see as your role in kind of taking the district past the controversy?
Yeah. And so, first of all, a huge thank you and shout out to Dr. Moore, interim superintendent, for leading the district through these challenges. Yes, the challenges remain. The district has been doing a tremendous amount of work addressing those challenges head on. And I just want to be able to come in and learn more about those challenges. But again, addressing those challenges with intentionality and with grace. I do believe in asking a lot of questions. I do believe in holding, first of all, myself and all leaders and staff accountable. Have high expectations, but also a couple that with a high level of support. And so, yeah, there are going to be challenges. I'm keenly aware of the challenges that obviously I was able to research, but there's also maybe some underlying challenges that may not be out there. I want to make sure we are addressing those as well. And so, I believe in listening as well, but not only just listening, just to check the box and say, hey, I met with this employee group and I listened to them, but they will see, and that's how you build trust, right? They don't know me
Right.
from Adam. But what I want them to see is I'm a listener, and those things that we can address, I want us to be able to address those immediately, and they will see, yes, he's listening. Yes, the district is listening and responding. Now, will we be able to come in and accomplish everything within the first year? Absolutely not. It's going to take time, and so I want to spend a tremendous amount of time on that front end, building, establishing, and maintaining trust. Success moves at the speed of trust, and so that's a huge investment of time that I want to be able to do as soon as I hit the ground. Building that trust, creating trustworthy process, and transparency as well. So really excited about the work that lies ahead, and I often say that through every challenge there's great opportunity, and so that's
Hmm.
how I just approach the work.
Excellent. So what do you want the DPS community to know about your goals for the district and about your approach to managing the district? I think you went in a little bit into that just
Mhm.
now, but kind of talk about your goals as you've looked at the district. What do you see the future for DPS?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I will say that I don't have a plan that I have ready to impose on the district. I do have an entry plan that will I'll get feedback from our school board and make that plan public, so that the community can see the progress over these
Mhm.
first 100 days. And in it is a lot of listening and learning and meeting district staff, community stakeholders, our governmental partners, elected officials. So doing a lot of listening during those first 100 days. I do know that the district spent a tremendous amount of time and engagement, community engagement, in developing its strategic plan, which is the
Mhm.
blueprint for the work. Those 5 goals, and I'm sorry, 5 priorities and 21 goals are there. And I think we can come in and continue to leverage that. But my ultimate goal is like I said, is to make Durham Public Schools the premier school district in the country. And I do believe we can get there. There's a lot of great things going on in the system. There's some momentum in terms of academic progress. When you talk about 4.4% percentage increase in ELA, 6.6% in math. Really want to look at what fifth grade math is doing. But there's a lot of momentum there, and I want to come and add value to that and accelerate that. Durham is a school district that's able to have difficult conversations about race, have difficult conversations about providing resources for all students. Because there are some school systems that cannot do that. And so, but when you're able to have those conversations, you're able to address the needs of all students, which ultimately, you address the needs of all of our marginalized students, which ultimately impacts all students, and just makes
Yeah.
for a great community. And so that's the goal. I'm very competitive. I want our students to win, I want our district to win, but I want Durham to be the best school system. I was in a superintendent's conference, and this superintendent will remain nameless, but it was another superintendent from North Carolina. And when they were introducing themselves, they said that they were one of the top tier schools in the state. And internally, I said, not for long, not for long. So, but I believe when we take on that attitude, we give our very best to our students because they deserve the very best. And so for me, it's about creating an environment where students thrive and that they're able to get their needs met, and that they can see their path forward in terms of reaching their goals. Because as educators, our ultimate goal is to provide a rigorous learning environment where we teach them to solve problems that are not even problems yet. And when we think about it, there are 3 ways to do that and improve learning to scale. And that's really looking at raising the level of the content, supporting, investing, and raising the level of the teacher's knowledge, and then student active learning and engagement. And so what does classroom engagement look like in a day and age where educators are competing with devices, in social media?
All right. Is there anything else we haven't covered? Anything else you want to add before I let you go to your next important appointment? I'm sure you are a busy guy.
Yeah, well, I am a collaborative leader. I know that schools can't do this work alone. And what I want the Durham Public Schools community to know, whether you have a connection to Durham or not, is that we will need you. We will need you to find your place in Durham Public Schools, whether it's coming in, pouring into our scholars, mentoring our scholars, advocating for us at the local and state level. The more that as a community we can wrap our arms around our scholars, the better for the community, the better for economic development, the better for the vitality of the school system. And so I'm just super excited and ready to get to work.
Well, looking forward to having you here. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Lewis. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Wes. Thank you.
Thank you, Wes. Take care.
See you.
All right.